what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back, yes, oh yes, to a book review that I haven't done in like a couple of million years. And also the book that we are going to be reviewing today came out about a year and a half ago. I finished reading it about a year ago, but the review's just been pending, so I'm really sorry for that. But the book that we're reviewing today is Everything is Fucked by Mark Manson. This is actually Mark's second book. I did in fact review his first book, which was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, on my channel. The audio is a little bad in that video, but if you still want to watch it, I will link it in the description. Go watch it after you're done watching this video. I've said this before, but for those of you who have not watched my first video reviewing Mark's first book, the reason why Mark's writing really resonates with me, and I think it will resonate with you guys as well, is because he never uses a preachy tone, which is something you'll find very often when you're picking up a self-help book. But if you're purchasing Everything is Fucked or Mark's first book, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, you will feel like someone is actually sitting you down and talking to you while drawing from their past experiences. However, in this book, Mark has actually gone a step beyond and incorporated ideas from the lives of great thinkers and doers like Nietzsche or Kant or Witold, to name a few. But he's put it in a very simple way so that even the least brightest minds, or like people who are not avid readers, can quickly grasp the complex and heavy concepts that these great thinkers were known for. Therefore, in comparison to his first book, this book can seem to be a little bit towards the complicated side or the heavier side in terms of ideas and concepts that are there in this. Also, Mark has gone a step beyond and incorporated a lot of psychological concepts in this book. Researches that were done, studies, experiments and all that stuff, which as a former psychology student, I absolutely loved. But it can seem a little confusing at first to people who are absolute non-readers or people who have absolutely no idea about psychology. But as I said in my previous point, Mark has done it so beautifully and so simply that it'll be very easy for you to grasp at the end of the day if you just put your mind to it a little bit. Now, the book is divided into two parts. Essentially, the first part talks about how important hope is for human survival and how a lack of it can expose us to the uncomfortable truth, which I will talk about just in a bit. And the second part of the book talks about what life would be like without hope. Now, the uncomfortable truth is this concept where he talks about the meaninglessness of human existence and material insignificance. He says that in the grand scheme of things, nothing matters. And that's enough ground to lose all hope and will to go on. But you have to, because hope is fuel to the mental engine, and that's what gives you a reason to live. Mark also goes a step beyond and adds to his own point, saying, I will read this directly from the book, each individual action may not matter in the grand scheme of things, but the preservation and promotion of rational consciousness overall matters more than anything. And considering what's been happening in the country in the recent past, this, when I was rereading it while writing the script for this video, this really meant a lot, and I think it's a lot deeper than what it may sound like right now. This concept wherein he talks about how rational consciousness overall matters more than anything. He's drawn this from the Formula of Humanity, which was devised by Kant, who was a great thinker. Essentially, what this theory talks about in a very crude form, I'll tell you, it's this, that humanity / kindness / just doing good things should never be treated as a means. It should always be treated as the end. Meaning, you should just be nice for no reason. You should be there for people. You should be ready to help people, not because you feel like through that you're gonna achieve enlightenment or you're gonna, moksha is just the Hindi word for it, but you're gonna get something out of it or it's gonna be a transactional thing. No. You should not be kind because you think you're gonna get something back. You should be kind because that's what matters. Because at the end of the day, nothing matters. So why not be kind to each other? Make sense? Now I'm going to talk about two concepts from the book that I really like and really resonated with. Of course, I'm not going to give you guys everything because this is me trying to push you to read this book. So I'm not going to give you everything, but just two small concepts from the book that really resonated with me. The first was how to be an adult. Now, I love captioning my stories and photos on social media as adulting 101 when I've had like a long day at work, or I'm figuring out some documentation, or I'm trying to figure out what taxes are and how to wrap my head around it and all of that stuff. And upon doing all of these things and all of these tasks, I feel like, okay, now I'm an adult. But I've never felt like an adult. Okay, I'm 22, soon turning 23 next year, but I feel like I'm not an adult. And that's something that always confused me, that okay, now I'm earning, I'm doing like, you know, I'm working a job and I'm doing all these adulty things, but why don't I feel like an adult? And that is something that this book helped me answer. Essentially, the answer that I found after reading this book is just that doing all of these tasks and doing all of these apparently adulty things is preventing me from being a child, but not necessarily making me an adult. And you know, there's a difference between the two. And also further in that section, how to be an adult, Mark talks about what are the basic tenets of adulthood. And one of them that really struck me, which I feel like I lack right now, is unconditionality. Okay, doing right things simply for the reason that they are right and nothing else. You know, unconditional love, unconditional hard work. Of course, like, you have to aim for bigger things. Like, if you're working hard at work, you have to aim for a promotion, you have to aim for a raise, you have to aim for recognition, of course. But that should not be your only motivation. Okay, like, there are certain things in life that you have to do unconditionally. As an adult, you have to unconditionally help people, be there for people. I'm sure that's not possible. Like, I can't fully be unconditional. I'm sure there's gonna be some, you know, strain of transaction in my head at all times. But I feel like the more close I get to functioning in a way that I feel is unconditional, the more I'll feel like an adult. And that is the reason why I don't feel like one right now. And this book really explained that thing to me. Now, the second concept that I really liked from this book was the blue dot effect. Essentially, there's nothing called the blue dot effect. It was actually a psychological research which was studying prevalence-induced concept change, but because Mark has done an incredible job at replacing all of this technical jargon and replacing it with simpler terms which are easy for everyone to understand, he has sort of paraphrased the research and renamed it as the blue dot effect. Now, let me quickly tell you what exactly this research was. Some researchers took a bunch of people and they told them that you have to sit in front of a computer and we're going to show you a bunch of colored dots, okay, and you have to tell us every time you see a blue dot. Okay, now out of all the dots that each person was shown on the computer screen, and by the way, each person was shown about 1,000 dots, most of them were blue, some of them were purple, and some of them were shades between blue and purple, right? In the initial stages, the researchers showed by and largely blue dots. So because the people who were participating in the research saw mostly blue dots, when they did see some purple or some different shade ones, they were able to distinguish it very quickly from blue and purple. Like, they were able to distinguish between the two very quickly. However, in the next stage, what the researchers did is that they sort of lessened the number of times they would show the blue color dot and increase the number of times they would show purple, or like the shades between blue and purple. And what interestingly they found in the second stage was this, that people actually saw more blue dots, which is like not possible because the researchers were not actually showing them blue dots. But what happened is that people started sort of warping their perception to match their expectation, okay, because in the first stage they saw so many blue dots, that's why in their head they were already expecting a lot more blue dots in the second stage as well. But even though the researchers did not show them blue dots, like many blue dots in the second stage, but more of purple and shades in between, because the people's expectations were set in a certain way that we will see blue dots, they started perceiving the shades between blue and purple, and even some purple, as blue, which is insane because I related to it so much, and I think a lot of you will as well. you know, the experiences we have in life, say for example a friend betrays you and goes and tells your secret to everyone, or like any kind of a bad experience, and especially repeatedly having such bad experiences will oftentimes make you believe that this pattern is going to repeat. Okay, no matter what, like I can't break free of the pattern and this is always going to happen. So let's take the example of a friend breaking your trust. If that's happened to you once or twice and it's been a very, you know, intense experience for you and you've been really hurt by it, chances are that the next time you make friends, or you know, the next time you meet new people, you will always be very conscious and you will always be expecting them to betray you, or just feel like, or just, you know, not trust them very quickly. I've had my share of experiences, negative experiences in life in various different areas, and after reading this I realized, yeah, you know, because this happened, I sort of developed like this pattern in my head thinking that ये पहले हुआ था, मतलब ये आगे भी होगा. And that's just how I've been sort of treading through relationships and through friendships with that sort of not exactly bias, if bias is the word, but that's sort of an inhibition in my head, you know. These are just some of the really cool things that you will find in this book. In the end, I would just say this, that this book may not be something that will give you all the knowledge of the world or like in-depth knowledge about something, but this is definitely the book that will inspire you to go out there and look for the knowledge that you want, or look for you know, the hope that you're wanting to look for. And lastly, before I end this video, I just want to say, a lot of times people will judge you for your choice in art and music and books and literature and all of this stuff, but just don't care about it. And especially when it comes to reading, as long as you're reading, okay, even if it's a rom-com, even if it's a comic book, even if it's a newspaper, a weekly magazine, just keep reading, because you know, reading really inculcates a lot of good things in us, like patience, ideas, such different ideas. Reading is really good for you. So I think as long as you're reading, it's all good. Don't let anyone judge you for what you're reading, because that's something that I've kind of faced. And also, like, when I was particularly reading this book, that's why I'm saying this, when I was particularly reading this book, I often got like a couple of comments from people, unsolicited comments, like, why are you reading this? This is like sort of shit book. Like, I like it, I resonate with it, end of the story. So please keep reading. Download Mark Manson's app. I just realized that I never told you guys what this app is. So basically, it's an application by Mark that gives you access to his writings. These include excerpts from his first and second book, as well as some of his old and new blogs, but in bite-sized pieces, which is awesome. I make reviews to like push you to read the book that I'm reviewing, not to like give you all of the info that's in the book. That's why this was like a mini micro teaser of what this book is like and how awesome this book is. So please go grab it. I will leave links in the description. Please buy it through my links so I can make some moolah, and download Mark Manson's app. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm making a book review after so long. I really hope you guys watch it, because book reviews don't really do that well on my channel, but I hope they do this time. And I hope I was recording. Yeah, I was recording. That being said, it is 4 in the morning. I will see you guys next week. Bye.
East and the west, I'm racking up on my bread, power on me, I'm feeling just like a Tesla. Too much tree, the smoke is making my chest hurt. Girl on me, I'm thinking I should've rest her. Hey, I'm thinking I should've rest.